What's good with y'all, man? I'm back with another video. 1:59, 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock, bro. Tonight, I got y'all with a reaction video tonight. Now, look, this week, I've kind of been a little bit not consistent from what I was doing. I don't know. This week, I've been really inconsistent. I haven't been locked in on this when I should be. And I don't like that. I really don't. The video is titled, Kids Don't Watch Cartoons Anymore. Which is scary. What do kids even watch? Like, I know in today's day and age, like, if you're a toddler, you're most likely watching CoComelon. Like, I know streamers is like the new wave, like the new TV, but it's like, damn, like, that's y'all cartoon. If y'all new here, if y'all haven't already, make sure y'all like, y'all subscribe, y'all comment, do what you gotta do. Let's get into this video.
The cartoons and TV shows that raised us are gone. And I'm not just saying that because we're older.
Unfortunately.
But the era in which Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and Cartoon Network dominated kids' TV screens is no longer. And it's essentially been replaced by streaming services and streamers. And it's just a lot different than how we were growing up. And look, I know we're older, I know we're not watching kids' TV.
Quick question, how many of y'all are iPad? How many of y'all are iPad kids? I'm gonna be honest. I'm a mix of both. I grew up without an iPad. Wait, no, I can't say that. Because by the time I was in kindergarten, that's when I first got my iPad. I got my iPad. I think I still have it. This iPad was the first iPad I ever owned, and I grew up with TV, but sometimes I'll be on this
TV anymore, but the idea of traditional TV is actually dying. You know, the days in which you would sit down on your couch, look through the TV guide, and just find whatever was on, that isn't really a thing anymore that kids do, because now all the media is right in front of their face. You can look it up on YouTube, you can go on streaming services, you can look it up on your iPad.
Oh my god. Okay, I know I'm pausing again too soon, but one thing I will say that kids nowadays don't have to go through that necessarily Gen Z had to deal with and years before. If you wanted to watch, you can't just sit there and watch a whole show. That's not how that works. Like, bro, if you was introduced to a show mid-season, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's GG's game. You gotta sit there and watch whatever they show you. Because I promise you, there's no way you finished a whole season of a show. There's no way. There's no way.
Different. Kids not being able to consume media 24/7 is declining. And because traditional TV is dying, so are the experiences of it. I mean, think about something as simple as Saturday morning cartoons. Those were one of the most peak things of my childhood. You roll out of bed, you go eat breakfast, you sit in front of the TV, and you watch your favorite cartoons or TV shows. Or even something like waiting all week for an episode of your favorite TV show to drop. Like, you know the episode's going to come out Friday as soon as you get home from school, so you're anticipating it all week. You're so excited, you're talking about it with your friends, and then when you get home on Friday, you sit down in front of the TV and you watch it. And those two experiences, they built our childhood. So today,
I thought something was popping up on the screen.
Look back at how it was watching TV and the different experiences of our childhood and kind of compare it to what kids experience now. Alright, so first, let me just paint the picture and rewind back to a Saturday morning when we were growing up, because there was no better feeling than Saturday morning cartoons. So you can just close your eyes and picture this. It's a Saturday morning, you wake up around 8:30 or 9, you roll out of bed, you're still in your pajamas, and you go into the kitchen to find yourself some breakfast. You grab a bowl, and then you find your favorite cereal. Maybe it's Cookie Crisp, maybe it's Cocoa Puffs, maybe it's Fruit Loops, or even Lucky Charms. You place your bowl on the table, you fill it up all the way with your cereal, then you grab the milk from the fridge, you dump it in your bowl, and then you find a nice blanket and you sit in front of the TV. And as you're sitting in front of the TV, you wrap yourself in the blanket.
Okay. What is y'all go-to shows or channels when it came to Saturday mornings when y'all was younger? There's Disney Channel, Disney XD, Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., Cartoon Network, Boomerang, etc., etc., etc. When I was younger, it would be Disney Jr. first, and then Cartoon Network, and then Boomerang. But when I grew up, it was like Disney Channel or Nickelodeon probably, and then like Cartoon Network was always the whole day. Cartoon Network was always the whole day. I don't care. Cartoon Network was always my go-to the whole day. And when it was late at night, when Cartoon Network would be done and Adult Swim would come up with that King of the Hill, I would go to Boomerang. Boomerang will literally be always there for me.
And the TV
That's
remote,
really gone. That's gone.
Maybe you're going on Cartoon
King
Network
of the
first,
Hill,
or Disney Channel, or looking at Nickelodeon. But you're trying to find one of your favorite TV shows. And once you find your show, you sit down and you watch and enjoy. The house is calm, you're relaxed, and you're just enjoying yourself. That experience is something that we all shared. And you could watch these shows for hours and hours, getting up in between commercial breaks, knowing you have about 3 or 4 minutes to put your food away, or get another bowl, or whatever it may be, but you knew the timing of these Saturday mornings.
The one commercial I never liked was
from our childhood. So close your eyes and think back to when you
was the Frosted Flakes commercial and the Fruit Loops.
Or SpongeBob, or Fairly Odd Parents, or Phineas and Ferb, whatever it may be. But think back to when a new episode was premiering. Because everyone knew that a new episode will come out on Fridays. And that feeling of anticipation for the week was like no other.
Hold on, time out. I can't get that out of my head now. Like, bro, one thing I did not like about Cartoon Network was how they overused the hell out of some of their ads. For instance, the Frosted Flakes, bring out the tiger. Bro, I hated Frosted Flakes. For a minute, I hated Frosted Flakes and I hated Fruity Pebbles. Like for a minute, because they kept overplaying it. Like, it got to a point, bro.
New episodes came out on Friday, and the anticipation leading up to that day was insane. You and your friends would be at school talking about what the new episode could be about, or what the last episode was. Maybe there was a cliffhanger, maybe there was a new character introduced, but the anticipation that followed from every Friday to Friday was such a fun time to experience. But I want you to just think about the shows that we had. We had shows on Nickelodeon like SpongeBob and the Fairly Odd Parents. You had Disney Channel like The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Wizards of Waverly Place to Kim Possible. And then on Cartoon Network, you had Ben 10, Regular Show, Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball. These were such elite shows that had millions of kids watching every single week. And something very underappreciated about this era is that we would only get one new episode every single week. So we had to learn how to be patient. We had to learn how to occupy our minds with something else, even though everybody inside was dying just to see what the new episode was.
You could just find that in a heartbeat.
Days, theorizing about what could happen. In that experience, think about it. It's something that a lot of kids don't experience now. But I really want to compare and contrast what our childhood was versus what it's like for kids nowadays, because the difference is starker than you think. Because now with streamers and streaming services, they don't have to wait until it's just a Saturday morning, or they don't have to wait for the one new episode a week, because a lot of their content is at their hands 24/7. They can look it up on YouTube or on some streaming site, or they can watch a streamer who does a live stream every single day for 4 or 5 hours. And here's another thing about the TV shows that raised us. Every single episode had a lesson for us to learn. And I know this may be something that you don't really care about, but think about it. When you're growing up, the media you consume is super important.
It's so crazy. There was so many motivational lessons from these childhood shows, and I absolutely did not give a about them at all. I'm just watching the show. But as I got older, and they would pop up on my feed, I would look back. I'm like, damn, bro. I didn't even realize that's what they was talking about, bro.
You realize that every episode of SpongeBob, Ben 10, Amazing World of Gumball, there was always some lesson that you were being taught. Maybe it was to share, maybe it was to be honest or have integrity, but you learned something. But then compare it to what kids are watching nowadays. A lot of the streamers they watch, or the content creators, some of their content isn't great for kids. They're doing disrespectful things, they're harassing other people, and they're just not setting good examples. And some of these content creators, they reward bad behavior. They make it seem like it's really funny to be disrespectful,
bro.
And when you're a young kid and you see that type of content, you're going to start to believe the same thing. And I feel like you can see the effect that it has on kids. Because whether or not you realized it, the lessons we learned in our childhood TV shows, they actually did shape us as people. It taught us to be honest and how to share and how to just be a good person. But some kids nowadays are watching content that's leading them down a dangerous path. Because I don't think it's a good thing for impressionable kids to be watching these creators who just go out and harass people, or the ones who do pranks that are really just disrespecting people. But then another point, think about how our childhood was with TV shows. We knew that
it's one thing that streamers do, they clip farm. Yeah, I know, you gotta clip farm. You gotta clip farm to, pop off, but it's crazy, bro. what are you teaching to you? Is it even about the youth anymore, King? Or is it just your pockets?
Each episode was going to be about 22 minutes, and you have the intro, and then you have commercial breaks for about 2 or 3 minutes, then the rest of the episode for about 10 or 11 minutes, then more commercials, then you'd have, maybe 6 or 7 minutes of an episode, then commercials, and then finally the episode would end. And that pacing of the episode, it taught us structure, but it also taught us patience, because we knew we couldn't just keep watching continuously and continuously. There were going to be...
We had no choice. It was not on anything else.
Brain a break. But once again, we fast forward to today, and kids can consume media 24/7. They can pay to watch without ads. They can skip to the next episode. They can rewind, fast forward. There's nothing that's stopping them from being impatient. But with all the points I've just made, some people might ask, how did we get here? And the answer is nuanced, but a simple answer, it's from the rise of streaming and content creators. Because Netflix and Disney Plus have dominated what traditional TV...
that and technology. Sure, yes, it's content creators, but it's also technology, because... Like I said before, I got this iPad when I was in the fifth grade, oh my god. When I was in kindergarten. When I was in kindergarten, that's when I got this iPad. And I was obsessed with YouTube nonstop. YouTube was my forever app. I'll always go to. Yeah, I had this, but this did not stop me from watching regular TV. If I'm gonna be honest, it's crazy because I was watching more regular TV than being on my iPad. But sometimes I was just doing both. So it's
because with the rise of Netflix
more
and
streaming
Disney
services
Plus, traditional TV has disintegrated. Because these streaming services allowed for access to this content 24/7, which was such a big difference from traditional TV. Because before, you couldn't just watch your favorite cartoon whenever you wanted. You had to see when it was playing, when the schedule was on the TV, look at the guide.
Absolutely.
But now, you can just go on Hulu, go on Netflix, go on Disney Plus, and watch your favorite show.
And just be a chud and binge watch the whole show.
Of Saturday morning
every show that you want to watch,
just
binge watch them. Just sit down, eat ice cream.
Streaming services took over, you saw the adjustment that had to be made from these networks. Cartoon Network shifted, Disney Channel shifted, Nickelodeon shifted. They're not producing the same content they once did, but they also don't have the resources or the audience that they once did also. And along with streaming services, you had content creators who found out that they can make a lot of money by doing really stupid things. And let me say this, not all content creators are bad. I'm a content creator myself. But the thing is, when we start rewarding bad behavior, and especially when it comes to younger streamers who do really stupid things, little kids are their primary audience, and that sets such a bad influence on them. But then also you have YouTube. And YouTube's a great thing, but YouTube is not what it was when we were growing up. Because there's so much content now, there's so much media, there's such an influx of what kids can access. And that's just adds to the problem that has caused traditional TV to decline. So with all that being said, I'm not saying everything was perfect when we were kids. I'm not saying that we were better than the kids today. And I'm not trying to be like the meme where it's like, old man yells at clouds, because I'm not trying to be that guy. But I want to make the point that traditional TV has died. And I think it's had negative consequences on kids. Because watching TV, it did teach us life lessons. It did teach us how to be patient. It built excitement. It built anticipation. And there was just a different energy about it versus what it is today. The storytelling was better. I feel like people actually cared for what was being produced. And when you compare it to what kids are watching nowadays, it's just kind of sad to see that what we grew up on doesn't really exist anymore.
Damn, bro. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Looking back at this, it's kind of sad. It's real that traditional TV has died, and it's crazy to think about. We really sat here. Okay, I'm speaking for Gen Z. We really sat here and grew up with traditional TV with a mix of, again, iPads, technology, all that. We got a mix of both, and we just seen the drastic turn as time went on. That's the crazy thing, bro. Motivational quote is, don't think you gotta be at a certain place in your life because you see somebody else celebrating their wins. Everybody's in their own pace. You could be in your starting pace, somebody else could be in their ending pace. But don't look at somebody else's progress and feel like you're left behind, because you're not left behind, bro. You're not left behind, bro. you're not left behind, bro. You're in your process. You're in your own lane and you're processing. Just like, look at the trees. The tree doesn't grow faster because the one next to it already grew. Like, it's still in its process. It's literally still in its process. And it's like, you're never left behind, bro. If y'all haven't already, make sure you... well, hold on. No. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all like, y'all subscribe, y'all comment. Do what you gotta do, man. I'm out, bro.